So this is my very first experience with any of the DBRAND cases. And I'm going to give you my totally honest review of what I think about this case because it is $60 and I want to see what all the hype is about, not to mention everybody asking me to do a DBRAND case review. So we're going to install it on the phone. I'm going to see how it looks, how it feels, and in the end, I'm going to let you know if I think this case is worth your time. So let's get started. So first off, my case did come with a microfiber cloth in this little wrapper here. And then it comes in this box that's kind of magnetically held together. Looks pretty nice, very nice presentation. Opens up just like that. And it does look like we also get a skin for the back of our phone and kind of around our cameras as well. Here is the case. Case does look pretty nice, feels nice in the hand so far. It's got a lot of grip all the way around the case, which I absolutely love. On the back, it does have a nice plastic cover, and on the inside of the case, it does have kind of like a microfiber material. So DBRAND suggests cleaning off the back of your phone with the microfiber cloth and then installing it inside the case. So there's really nothing special about this cloth. It kind of feels like a cheap cloth that I would get on some phone case that I would buy from Amazon. So nothing really to write about there, but it does clean off the phone. So I'll put our phone inside the case here. This case has also been military grade drop tested. Feels really nice in the hand, nice and grippy. It's got these little micro texturing on the sides of the case to really give it a nice grip. It's not slippery at all. As far as the buttons on the sides, not too bad. They're not the easiest buttons to press, but they do the job. The action button is definitely a little bit harder to press in than some of the other cases that I've tested out. So let's take a look at the case from the side. Now, as you can see, it's got a higher raised edge in the bottom and the top of the case, and that's made by design. So when you're swiping left and right, the piece of the case that's the lowest is right where you're going to be swiping. So that's definitely a plus. I would rather prefer the edges to be on the top and the bottom of the case. Now, I also do have a tempered glass screen protector on my phone as well. So this will give you some idea of how much of a raised edge you still get even with the tempered glass. It's got kind of like a weird design on the back. As you can see, it's thick and then it gets kind of thinner towards the bottom here, which is kind of weird looking. But it doesn't add much extra bulk to this portion, but a little bit more towards the top there. And then as you can see, our textured volume buttons and action button on the side. The buttons here, I would really have liked to have seen them separate from the case to make them much easier to press, but these buttons are actually molded from the case itself. We've got these kind of, it's not even a texture, it's just, they're a smooth kind of portion of the case. The grip is on the portion that's not shiny. On the bottom here, we've got our cutouts. On the other side, we've got our power button, and we also have this little cutout for our camera button, which we also will test out in just a minute. On the back here, you can see it's got a very smooth kind of plastic back. It's very slick. So if you were to put your phone down on something that was just kind of taking up the middle portion of this case, it might slide off if there was any sort of a slope or an angle to it. And it's also got a very slight raised edge for our cameras. I would also like to see a little higher raised edge for the camera protection too. Does not look like a bad case, and again, those little micro dots on the back you can feel. It definitely gives the case some grip, which I absolutely love, and it's all the way around the case. It's not just kind of on the bottom or the sides, it's all the way around, which I like as well. Now this case also does have MagSafe built in, so let's test out that. Got our MagSafe power bank, charges the phone, let's see how strong it is. And it's got a pretty good strong hold on the back as well, so I don't think you're going to have to worry about your MagSafe accessory pretty much ever falling off the phone. It's on there. It seems to be on there pretty good. So that's definitely a plus as well. Now, the one thing about the back case is it being a hard plastic, it does look like it can get very easily kind of scratched up. As you can see, just by using the MagSafe power bank, we've already got some scratches on the back, which definitely isn't good. They should have made this more of like a little bit of a textury type material, maybe like what you have on the sides of the case. So your case might get easily scratched up on the back. You can see all those scratches already. See if we can wipe them off. And they don't wipe off, they're still there. So definitely a downside to the back of the case. It seems like it can get scratched up fairly easily. Let's put the phone on its back here. Yeah, it doesn't seem to do a lot of gripping even when you put the phone on its back here. You got those sides, just kind of slides just like a regular phone would. It's not. It doesn't seem super slippery. It seems like a very slight bit of grip, but it's definitely not super grippy. So now let's test out our camera button. So there is a little edge here that you kind of have to get your finger over to press in that button, which makes it a little bit harder because you have to actually get your finger inside that hole instead of just kind of pressing like you would normally. Like you really have to press to get that camera to open up. They should have probably made this little bump back here a little bit less so your finger could really easily fit into that little indentation. Let's see how easily it is to access the touch gestures. So it seems like it works pretty good for the touch. Double click. This also has the little micro dots around it as well for grip. And it does seem to be working pretty well. Can't really complain there. Just maybe a little bit less deep, more shallow, and I think it would be pretty good. But it does seem to be working perfectly fine. And the buttons on the side of the phone are also kind of small. It would have been a little nicer for them to actually make the buttons a little bit bigger. Maybe stick out from the case just a titch more, but I think making the buttons a little bit bigger would have been nicer as well. And then if we look at the phone from the camera indentation here, you can kind of get an idea of how much material we have on the case before it actually gets to your phone. So now what are my thoughts about the DBRAND Grip Case? Well, for $60, I think this case isn't as good as it should be. I think maybe 45-ish price range would be definitely a good price for this case. It's really not anything special. There are some cases that are actually about the same price or a little cheaper that I think are probably better than the DBRAND case. Grip is really nice. I really do like the little micro texture around the cases. Again, I would like to see these buttons, maybe floating buttons, not part of the case themselves, and actually maybe a little bit bigger. That would definitely be a plus as well. As for the raised edge around the front, it might be adequate for a phone that does have a screen protector on it. I would like to see just maybe a little bit more of that as well. And I think the worst part of this phone is probably the back plastic portion that, as you can see, scratches fairly easily. I just took this case out of the box while doing this review, and the case is already scratched up only by using the MagSafe power bank. So just imagine what this is going to look like on a day-to-day use. I most definitely would not buy this case again. I pretty much just got this for you guys so you know exactly what you're getting into when you go to buy one of these DBRAND grip cases. And if you've owned a DBRAND grip case before, let me know your experience in the comments below. I'd really like to know what everybody else has to say about this case. So that's pretty much it for the DBRAND Grip Case. If you guys enjoyed the video and found it useful, it would really help out my channel if you gave me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.